You're listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast, where we discuss everything iRacing in a casual setting. Enjoy.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I am your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brian McCubbin.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday.
And hey, happy build week, David Hall.
Yo.
Donnie Spiker.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, Greg Hectus. Yo, Justin Pearson.
Hey, friends.
Welcome, and Mackenzie Stevens.
How's it going?
It's build week, everyone, and we're going to take you through all the goodness of the new content. The iRacing Skip Barber Formula Series wrapped up, and which iRacer will get a shot at a fully funded ride? And did iRacing accidentally make the best oval car in the service?
And remember, guys, you can follow along with us on your PC or mobile device in real time. All you have to do is go to iRacersLounge.com and select Show Notes. So you'll see all these great topics and products we'll discuss. So see you there.
Oh, here we go. Big story. It's week 13. Donnie, let's go through the release notes. What do we get?
Yeah, so we got it. They've all been announced within the last several weeks, but we got the late model stock. It's going to replace the current late model. They're not going to make that a legacy car. I think they're completely getting rid of it. They got the Renault Clio coming. That's a little tiny little hatchback type of front-wheel drive vehicle. You've got a new Formula car coming, the Ray FF 1600. It's going to be the beginner car for the Formula ladder. Let's see, for tracks, we got Circuit Jerez. I believe that's in Portugal or Spain, one of the two. We got a new damage model for the new Formula car I just spoke about, the Ray FF 1600. So AI Racing got some updates. Auto Fuel, which has a lot of people talking. Car parameter updates, dynamic brake audio system, and iRacing UI visual refresh.
Let me try to fix it. Yeah, that car, the FF, I think the FF stands for Formula Ford. And I think that's probably going to be my shortcut name for that car because it's kind of a mouthful, to say the proper name.
Listening to some of the current IndyCar drivers getting their start over in Europe before they failed on the F1 ladder, they talked about running the Formula Ford, and it sounds like that's the weekenders car series of choice over there. Like we have late models and super late models, but it sounds like the Formula Ford series is kind of I won't say your hobbyist, but that's where you get your weekend warrior driving those as well. So it's going to be exciting to get to drive that car.
The auto fuel thing, I got to experience that a little bit last night. I turned it off mainly because, it has a error correction of like it adds an extra lap or something, and you can adjust that. But it doesn't really adjust for green, white checkers, and maybe even 3 of them. So I just turned it off and do it how I normally do it. But what do you guys think about auto fuel finally being a stock option? You've always had to use third-party software up until now to do such a thing.
I'll be honest. I just use my brain calculations for it, and I just add maybe a couple clicks to account for that green, white checkered. So I don't know if I'll use it. I don't want it to mess with what I've got going on, but I'll check it out to try it. But I use Race Labs. Race Labs is pretty good, but I always give it a couple extra clicks when I enter the pit just to make sure I have enough.
right? And then the next gen car, got tire and drafting updates. Now at Phoenix, I don't know if I can tell the difference. I mean, the is there enough draft at Phoenix to tell? I don't know. The tires obviously are, you know, you can feel those at Phoenix, but I don't know if it's any different for me or not. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. The other big one was that Dallara jet car, IR01. They got oval setups basically. They put out setups and they got the car symmetrical, so it works on oval.
Yeah, they were actually running a ridiculous race in that car at Texas, and I did a couple laps, and it was pretty fun.
Right? And then what do you think about the beta UI refresh? I mean, I called it, let's put lipstick on a pig.
It was a little jarring last night when I went in to do my updates for the week. I haven't raced anything in over a week, but I just went on to do the updates, and it was a little jarring at first. I forgot that we were getting that. But I went to the results page to see if that was working any better, and it still doesn't show you where you rank in your division. I guess it just still gives you an overall ranking, and it's kind of annoying.
It's very annoying. Yeah, I go to look at the points and I hit division and I'm like, yeah, it's got, everybody listed in the right order, but the number next to it is all random because like it's based on your overall across all divisions. So, yeah, it's still broke. I mean, the functionality of it hasn't changed as far as that stuff goes. The the visual refresh is really a font change, and everything's a little bit smaller, maybe. And the other thing I noticed is there's a lot of wasted screen space, like above the little grid where you pick races. There's a good 6 or 7 inches of just black space at the top of the screen, and the same thing on the left and the bottom. And I just feel like, wow, this is a real waste of screen real estate the way they have it laid out. But hey, to each his own.
Yeah, I took a look at it, and when I looked at it, I didn't really notice much of a difference. And then I think it's because I didn't use the UI very often, so I really wasn't familiar with the UI looked like before. So the new one really didn't stand out as being way different.
Yeah, I just opened it up now to take a better look at it, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad they decided not to kill it, the website at this point. Give us a little bit longer, but I don't know what's taking them so long to do this. It doesn't seem like it's that difficult of a job
You would
if you're
think.
if you're hiring the right people.
Looking at the overall release notes to see what else we missed here. Let's see. They did fix some bugs with active reset. Um, a couple things where it wasn't saving the windshield and visor state, including if you had a tear off or not. So just little stuff like that. Lots of AI updates, which are good. By the way, I ran an AI race with the new with one of the new cars at Michigan, and one of the ways I save time is I don't do a rolling start. I do a standing start because basically I can skip a whole lap and get up to speed and get going quick, by doing a standing start. Well, I did a standing start at Michigan and we're on pit road for the standing start, all sideways. And the AI, they basically on pit road, turned right into road wall and wrecked. All of them, all 40 of them wrecked by themselves. So I drove away. It was interesting.
You need to take a replay of that and send it in.
I did put it in the team chat so you guys could see it. Force feedback support has been added for 360 hertz force feedback mode provided by some Logitech wheels. This is enabled by default, but can be turned off in the app by any INI. He also says the auto button, referring to the auto button under force feedback in sim, is now more consistent from run to run. Also, brake calibration asks the user if the brake pedal is a load cell pedal and corrects the brake curve automatically if so. Now, didn't we talk about this a few weeks ago where the guy Heiskenvelde did that video where, we're not modeling the curves of the brakes right in these cars, and if they did this and that, it would be better. And then boom, here we go. They got some adjustment.
What was the total gigs for this update? I'm just scrolling through and it just seems like a lot. I don't always select everything, especially if I don't use whatever that is. Sometimes I'll just keep it down, but it seems like it might have been a decent update size wise.
It really depends
I
on
want to
how
say
many
2.3.
items you own. Mine was three gigs and change.
Now, do you guys just select all to update? Just update everything regardless if you use it or not? Yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I can always remote in, so I usually just remote in and do it during like lunch while I'm sitting at work.
So what's the start zone jump start assessment improvements? They have that in the highlights, but I can't find it down the scroll.
It was up near the top. Yeah, they just an adjustment to it because it was out of whack is the way it sounded. I'm down into the cars looking at the changes to all the cars. Just a lot of little tweaks, adjustments. We're not going to read all these off, obviously.
Yeah, so the Formula Ford was a free update, right? So anybody
car.
could use that, yeah. And the late model just replaced the one that was there. So if you already had the late model, it just plugged it in, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's keep rolling in the show. There's a lot more release note stuff we're going to review, but I think we've all the big ones. So I'll take this next one. We have release notes for the app for iOS or Android for iRacing, the iRacing companion app. They put an update for that at the same time, which I thought was pretty cool that they're getting the app on the same release schedule as the sim. And so they're going to put, it seems like they're putting out a release every time, every 13 weeks.
Yeah, so you'll get a reminder, I guess, for upcoming races has now been set using different lengths before the event of a start. So you can get a reminder through the app now.
Lots of other app crash fixes and little issue fixes and that kind of thing. There is a new section, time attack. You can go in there and view what's going on with time attack. If you ever do time attacks, you want to go in there and see how you rank sometimes on the lap times against others. And that's why you would want to use the app. Oh man, did somebody get my time? And so I've poked around in time attack a bit and run some lap times just to get some numbers in there, and so I could watch it.
I still think the big hole in this app is to be able to register from the app. I think that's where it needs to go eventually, if it can.
Agreed, but isn't that the whole problem with having the UI and the website? They were saying that, having people register from multiple sources was causing, database problems. So I would think that if you had the app available to register, maybe that would be a second source and cause the same kind of problem.
Yeah, that is a possibility. You're right. Overall, I'm really impressed with what they've done since acquiring this app. I mean, they've really put a lot of effort into it. You can tell with all the updates that they get on a regular basis, and it just keeps improving as time goes along. So, you know, overall, I really do like what they've done with this, and I wind up checking results on my phone way more often than I go on a computer and check them.
Yeah, I've been using the app
Right.
lately, and it's not too bad. Actually, been getting used to it.
It's really good to look up other drivers. You can just search their name and pull up their profile and
Yeah,
see what they're running.
yeah, that's exactly what I do with it a lot. I see how you guys fared in races and check my buddies out and see where they were.
I like it. If I'm thinking of running a race I don't typically run, and I'll just check it to see what the times are to see if it's something I can fit in my day. But so far, I mean, it's might be better than UI. I don't know.
Well, one thing that's missing on that, and I did this a little while ago. I wanted to look up a driver who was a friend of a friend type of deal, and I knew their name, but it came up with multiple hits because the name was kind of fairly common, and I could differentiate one from the other by looking at like where they're from, what state they're from, and that's not available on the wasn't available anyway on the app. So I had to go into iRacing's website and look, and then look up the profile, and it had like their basic information, where they're from and stuff like that, and I was able to find the person I was looking for that way.
All right, let's move on to Skip Barber Formula iRacing Series finale.
Yeah, guys. So if you remember, going into last week's race, which was actually the final race, was on Thursday, right after we did the show. There was a 1 point difference going into the final race at Road America between Diogo Pinto and Harley Houghton. It was a 1 point difference, and again, you win this series, you get a fully funded ride for a whole season at Skip Barber Racing. Really big stakes at hand. I think they value it at about $500,000. So a really big prize for that, and get you into a real car, driving against real people on real tracks, and what a great way to get into a real world car through the sim. So again, 1 point separated Pinto and Houghton going into the last race. Diego Pinto actually posted quick time in qualifying, so he did his job. Houghton finished fifth, I believe, in qualifying. And in the first race, they run two separate races and get points from both of those races. In the first race, Pinto went pole to pole. He actually won the race, and Houghton went from fifth to second. So he lost a couple of points, and it was a 5 point differential going into the final race that was going to decide the winner of this thing. And they were going to be starting on the front row, Pinto and Houghton both. The first turn at Road America is a right hand bender. Um, uh, Pinto being on the pole was on the inside, on the right hand side. Houghton was on the outside. And as they come to the first turn and the first turn of the race, the car behind Houghton gets into him and spins him into the grass. And Pinto kind of just cruised around from there. He finished seventh place in that second feature, and won the title based on that. Now, Houghton was wound up finishing way down in the field. I think it was 15th or 16th. But a another win by Weldon. I forgot his first name. The kid, who's Dan Weldon's son.
Sebastian.
He won. Sebastian, there you go. Thank you. Sebastian Weldon won the second race, and this kid is—I mean, they had an interview with him. He's a kid. He's like 14 years old, and he looks younger than 14 years old, but he is racing with the top guys at iRacing, which is really impressive. So congratulations to Pinto. Now, there was a little controversy in this race. I watched it live, and when Houghton got turned into turn one of the final race, the car behind him that spun him was a teammate of Diogo Pinto. So there was a little bit of, ooh, this is not a good look. He got spun out by a teammate of the guy who was racing for the win. Now, from everything I've heard, the guy who spun him is a clean driver. He's a Team Redline driver. So from everything I heard, he's a good driver and he's fairly clean, and not a whole lot came out of it. But there was a little bit of angst there when that happened in the race. I haven't seen any issues with any kind of call outs or anything like that. So I think it was pretty well smoothed over. But so congratulations, Diogo Pinto, and we'll keep an eye on him as the real world Skip Barber season comes along. See how he does. Congratulations.
So cool. What a prize too, huh? All right. Mackenzie, how about fifth digit acquired?
Yeah, so there's a new addition to the short list of the 10,000 iRating for oval racers. It's Casey Kerwin. He put out a tweet. He says, fifth digit acquired. He says he appreciates everyone's support as always, especially over the past 4 to 5 months, hovering around 9,900. Then he goes on to say there won't be an alternate account. He's flying into the catch fence at Daytona and Talladega on the chin.
I like that last part. Kudos for not doing the alt account.
Exactly. That's getting it the hard way, man, because you're factoring all those races like Daytona and Talladega when, it doesn't matter how fast you are, you can still get a really poor finish and still hit that 10K rating.
Yeah, there's a comment further down on that Twitter post, and it says basically first non-late model farmer to reach 10K. So I thought that was kind of cool.
A little jab.
It is a jab. I mean, because right.
Well, you got to admit, Casey Kerwin races everything oval. There's no doubt. Okay, and so you'll see him in A Opens and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I dig it. He's also doing, he does well on the road series as well. So good for him. It's exciting. These people keep climbing. Most of us will never get that high, but it is what it is.
So that wasn't a jab at Ty Majeski then, right?
It was a jab.
Late models.
it was most likely a jab at the farmers in general. But hey, if that's what they like doing, I mean, when I was thinking of that comment specifically about them farming for the 10,000 or whatever, I mean, do they just want to see 10,000 next to their name for the iRating, or are they just on there racing what they like and what they're good at? Because if I found a series that I could win at consistently, I'd probably run it more often.
Well, and I think when you get that close to 10,000, because you're at the upper end of the IR spectrum, you almost have to win to gain iRating. Like if you even finish, I think fifth or worse, I don't think you gain because you're the top iRating. So you really have to do well, just inch it up a little bit.
Yeah, there's also a comment in that Twitter post saying now you have to win every race to keep it. So echoing
that's what I'm trying to say, yeah. Right? It's almost impossible to keep it because if you just have a few bad races, boom, it's gone. Hundreds and hundreds all at once.
Well, it makes sense. It said it took him 5 months to get that last 100 points. I mean, heck, man, we can do that in a couple races.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, he probably had a lot of wins, but he doesn't get very many iRating for it because he's at the top of the food chain. So he's just chipping away at it, just a few iRating at a time. All right, Justin, how about screen to speed at Vegas?
Yeah, the all-female screen to speed sponsored by Pennzoil made its way to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's got Mari Takashi if I pronounced that right. And it's saying she's got a tweet saying that she's on site at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for an all women's iRacing event. And it looks like they got probably 6 to 8 sims set up, and they're all being raced on. And then she got a couple tickets.
10 actually I counted in the second picture. If you open the post, you can go through the pictures. This is pretty cool. Remember, we've been talking about this for a few months, guys. It was in Time Attack. If you go to Time Attack, there's a Pennzoil banner. You run your laps in the A car, in the next gen car, and there were some other cars I think you had to run as well. But it was open to women only, and so this is the finale where they all met in Vegas. I assume they got hotel rooms and everything, and yeah, check out these rigs. They're not too bad of a setup actually. All triple monitors, 80/20 profile, perhaps Fanatec DD1 or DD2.
Yeah, a lady from Ireland won a Sorisi Fitzpatrick. I remember them walking her across the stage at the beginning of would have been Sunday's race. So she won. I don't know exactly what the event was or what they ran, but she was the winner of the event. And I don't know where that's going to take her, if that's going to get her onto a real track somewhere or not.
Cool. Well, Mackenzie, you might as well take this iRating story as well.
Yeah, so we have the second iRacer to ever reach 1100 or 11,000 iRating in a road series. So Sven Ole Haas, he says it has been a long time since his last tweet, but never say never. After a long journey, we made it happen. Second ever driver to reach 11,000 road iRating. Been proud of everyone who has been on my side during this journey. Relax now. And then he's got a few sponsors listed there, and a picture of him doing a donut in the Lamborghini after a win.
11,000. How do you get to that? That's even harder, right?
I'm not sure if it's harder in road because I think there's a lot higher participation. So I think it's easier to get it in road. Not easy, but a little easier in relation to oval.
There's more people, right? So
Right.
the ceiling is higher, right?
And concept price still applies. Just find the series you're good in and
Yeah.
keep running it.
Well, he's not in he's not a Porsche driver or anything like that. So, he's not in like these top series. So he must just be like doing host or official racing.
He's in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something there. He's probably GT3 driver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to take this one. We got a NIS wrap. Jacob Klein posted when he was in an NIS race under caution, he decided to have some fun with Chat GPT to have it create a NIS Chat GPT wrap. And so here's the conversation. So I'm going to read parts of it just to give you an idea or a flavor of what it says, but I'm not going to read all of it. Verse 1. NIS, the iRacing sensation, a simulation that's got everyone racing. With the next-gen car, it's treacherous and fast. A challenge for drivers, it's a true test. Verse 2.